Donald Trump has announced new tariffs and penalties on India. Earlier, the justification was India's protectionist stance, especially against sectors like medical devices, retail, and digital trade. This time, the reason, Trump says, is because India continues to buy oil from Russia, which is indirectly funding the war in Ukraine. Also, Trump once again warned Apple to pull back all the manufacturing from India to the USFA and not rely on India's and China's supply chain. Also, he brokered peace between India and Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, for which Pakistan has happily nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize and not India, because India says that's not true, man. Now, the bigger question is, why is this change of tone? Is it Trump's America First policy at play, or is there more geopolitical reasons that needs to be explored? Now, to understand why Trump seems restless, let us take a deep dive into the American economy. Over the years, the US government has borrowed heavily from global bodies like IMF and World Bank, and even from foreign governments. By mid-25, America's total debt has ballooned to $36.7 trillion, which is 124% of its GDP, the highest since World War II. This year alone, $9 trillion in debt is set to mature, intensifying pressure on government spending. Annual interest payments have soared to $1.1 trillion, eating up over 13% of federal expenditure. While the US dollar still dominates global trade, countries like India, China, and others in the BRICS bloc are pushing to settle transactions in their own currencies, aiming to reduce reliance on the dollar. Trump appears to have noticed this shift. He's likely trying to counter it by doubling down on trade protectionism and defending the dollar's global clout.
And the purpose of what I'm doing is primarily to pay down debt, which will happen in very large quantity. But I think there's also a possibility that we're taking in so much money that we may very well make a dividend to the people of America.
To stabilize the economy and avoid deeper breakdown, the US is aggressively pursuing new trade deals. Also, the White House and Trump are positioning himself as a peace mediator. As per White House, Trump has brokered peace not only between India and Pakistan, but 6 other nations. He's a messiah of peace. But then there's always economics at play. Trump's narrative, of course, is to make America not great but rich again. But there is a logic to it. Let us try to understand. Peace equals trade. Ceasefire unlocks opportunities for trade deals and foreign investments. Tariffs, pressure, economic leverage pushes nations towards agreement favorable to the US. Deals means dollars. Every diplomatic win translates into financial gain through investment, exports, or market dominance. These are the strategic signals. If industries believe that Trump is the mediator, then they will rely on US as a strong economic partner. And because you broker peace, you get deals, because there are no free lunches. Get my point? Now let's talk about Trump and India. India, with its $128 billion trade relationship with the US, is both a lucrative partner and a challenging negotiator. Trump's economic doctrine hinges on transactional diplomacy. After all, he is a businessman. Also, he sees India as a vast consumer base for US energy exports, especially LNG, crude oil, and refined fuels. A lucrative market for US defense hardware, ranging from fighter jets, missile systems, and surveillance tech. Remember F-35 versus the Sukhoi 57? A manufacturing partner that could offset Chinese dominance in supply chains. Yet India's pivot towards diversified sourcing, India remains the second largest importer of Russian oil, buying 1.75 million barrels per day, a top exporter to the US, especially in pharmaceuticals, electronics, and refined fuels. But India is price sensitive and strategically autonomous. Russian oil is cheaper even after discounts narrowed. Russian arms are familiar and cost effective. Trump's frustration stems from the fact that India refuses to pivot away from Russia despite his continued pressure. His tariffs and penalties appear to be coercive strategy to force India into buying American. Now, India understands what the US is trying to do and is trying hard to play the balancing act and hold its ground. As India deepens its defense ties with the US, HAL's deal with GE Aerospace to co-produce F414 engines for Tejas Mark II reflect a strategic pivot, one that balances technological advancement with the pursuit of self-reliance. So looking at all these facts and reason, one can safely say that Trump is not anti-India, at least in ideology. He's a businessman who is trying to negotiate and bargain hard to get the best, the maximum money out of India, because he wants to make America rich again. Also, this whole narrative of brokering peace between India and Pakistan during the war, well, it's just a PR exercise, because remember, besides being a good businessman, he's a great PR guy. India and America are already sitting on the negotiation table. Now the question is whether 25% would be the number, or will India bargain hard and get it down. But there will be some tariff one can expect, and one can also hope that it doesn't really impact the economy of both the countries, because both the countries have been in long trade relationships for a long time and nobody want to lose this business. So don't worry, have curry.